But is it true that some of y'all are out here paying more than $1,000 a month for your car payments?
That's crazy. There are so many people that are paying more than $1,000 a month for a car. And for some of them, they're not even new. But yet they're $60, $70, $80,000 vehicles, more than many people make in an entire year. And that's how much they are paying for a car. It's crazy. Today, we're going to talk about how car payments are killing people here in 2025. They are working to death. They are doing everything that they can to save, scrape by, and even rationing food and medication just to afford a car payment to keep up with their neighbors. This is something that has to stop. Today we're going to break this down. I want to explain what's going on, but why so many people continue to do this. But let's keep listening because, again, how are people actually doing this? It's crazy.
That means that if you have a significant other and they're driving a relatively new car, that y'all could possibly be paying $2,000 or more a month for car payments?
Yeah. More and more people are paying so much money. A large percentage of their monthly take-home pay is going to car payments. That doesn't include insurance. That doesn't include maintenance. That doesn't include fuel. That is just the car payment itself. And when you factor in fuel and car insurance, that's in many cases, you're spending about $200 a month on car insurance. You're also spending about $100 to $150 a month on fuel. You factor all that in, you're pushing close to $1,500 a month for car payments. It's ridiculous. But listen to this one, because again, it could just be me, but how many people believe that $1,000 is too much? Or do you think $1,000 is the right payment for the right type of car? Let's listen to this.
What do you think a reasonable monthly payment is for a newer vehicle? I'm not talking about you go down the street and go to the dealership. That's a mom and pop shop. No offense to the mom and pop shops. But I mean a newer vehicle, lower miles, under 40,000 miles, newer 2021 and above. What do you think a reasonable monthly payment is? A lot of people be like, oh, this is too high. Oh, wow. I want to see what you think a reasonable monthly payment is. I got the number in my head. What number is for you?
I'm just curious. What number do you think is reasonable for a monthly payment for a vehicle? And I'll tell you a little story. Now, previously I had a vehicle that was financed, and this was many years ago. And I was spending, it was under $300 a month, and I thought that was absolutely insane. That was ridiculously high. Now, if you want to try to find a vehicle for under $300 a month, well, you're going to find something that's very old and something that's probably not as reliable. It's just the way it is. But here's the crazy thing. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he spends about $1,300 a month on his car. It's a very nice car, but again, not something that I would consider as $1,300 worth of value. But that is what we're seeing. Look at this right here, though. These are the statistics, okay? Let me show you this. It says, Experian's quarterly State of the Automotive Finance Market report found that the average monthly car payment for new cars is $745, while used cars had a slightly lower payment of $521. Okay. It says 43.29% of vehicles financed in the first quarter of 2025 were new vehicles. Financing for used vehicles sat at 56.71% in the same quarter. Okay. It says 17.22% of new car payments were over $1,000, while only 10.35% were under $400. Used drivers fared better, with only 3.96% of payments over $1,000 versus 33.76% of payments under $400. Okay, here we go. It says the average cost of full coverage car insurance is about $223 per month for full coverage and $67 per month for minimum coverage. Remember, I was saying it was going to be under $200 for insurance. It's a little bit over. This is where we're at. Okay, and this is why car payments are killing people. Because people are working not just 40 hours a week, People are having to work 40-hour-a-week jobs, plus get a part-time job or do something on the side just to make ends meet because their car payments are just so high. Again, this is what we have been seeing for quite some time.
I want to talk about the normalization of these insane car prices that we are seeing in the modern era. And every time I talk about finances, or I do sort of a breakdown to help people understand just like why they're feeling so stressed and strapped, there's always somebody that's like, well, why do you even have a car payment? Why don't you go buy an $800 car? They don't really exist anymore. And if you found one, congratulations, but that's not a real thing. Or why don't you just save up $10,000 and just buy a car? How are you supposed to get back and forth to work, considering all of the variables that would make that difficult while you're saving to go buy a car outright?
Yeah. I see this question all the time and it's always in the comments where people are saying that, well, you don't need a car payment, and you are absolutely right. You don't need a car payment. There's public transportation, there's carpools. Most people have legs, and you can walk to work. But, for me here in Washington State, there's a lot of people that travel an hour. They will travel a full hour just to get to work. That's not walking distance. You cannot walk to work. Taking public transportation, again, if it takes you an hour to get to work in a vehicle, in your own personal car, it probably takes you about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to work in public transportation. That is somewhat concerning, being that if you start at 8 o'clock in the morning, you would have to jump on the bus by 6 or 6:30. Yeah, for some people, it's just not possible. Here's the other thing though. More and more people are justifying the fact that the average car payment is over $700. So if the average car payment's over $700, then I could easily afford an $8,000, $9,000, $1,000 payment. But the truth of the matter is this. There are certain people that can afford a $1,000 payment. There's other people that cannot afford a $1,000 payment. If you have a brand new vehicle and you are making, let's say you're making $5,000 a month, okay? That's combined, you and your spouse. The problem is if you have two vehicles, both at $700 a month, or $750, we'll do the easy math, that's $1,500 a month, okay? But you only make $5,000 combined, okay? You see why that's an issue? That's 30% of your income is going to a car payment or car payments. Again, not including insurance, not including maintenance, not including fuel. And then on top of that, you probably have some place to live. Again, which is probably going to be more than your car payments. I want to show you this though because I thought this one was interesting. Just saw this on TikTok and listen to this.
Just had a lady come in the dealership. She wanted to trade her fairly new Range Rover Sport autobiography. And I asked her why she wanted to trade it because it was so new. And she was like, I need to lower my payments. And I asked her, how long have you had it? And she said, I've had it for about a year and a half. I said, okay. And what kind of car are you hoping to get into? She said, I want to look at a GLE 53 coupe. I said, you're not going to lower your payments on a GLE 53 coupe. Oh, how much are they? Oh, new, they start at around $100. And she was like, oh, well, I'm looking for a pre-owned one. I said, okay. I said, a pre-owned Mercedes GLE coupe is in more demand than a new one. And the least expensive one, current body style, 21 or newer, is going to be around the low 60s. How much are you trying to lower your payment? I need to get my payments around 800. Well, you barking up the wrong tree, sister. You need to be looking at a C-Class. And, you know, she looked kind of devastated, like, clutching her pearls. Like, you know, this is the deal. You built your life on the most money a month you made as opposed to the least amount. Now, that straight commission set real estate job, the bottom done fell out of it. But your bills didn't go down when your finances went down, right?
That right there is key. Most people realize or think that, okay, they're struggling a little bit, right? Their income's dropping. But yet, when your income drops, your expenses don't go with it. They don't come down too. That's where many Americans are unrealistic. where we continue to live this lavish lifestyle, continue to live just beyond our means. That's part of the issue. This is why many Americans are just devastated right now, because they have these high monthly car payments, they have this expensive car insurance, but yet they can't afford it. Okay? They could never afford their car. But this is what was happening, is many car dealerships just had so many vehicles sitting on the lot. This was during the pandemic, early on the pandemic. There were so many vehicles sitting on the lot, they were selling them. The prices for vehicles were going up because what was happening is there were no new cars coming in. Keep in mind, the pandemic was like 4 to 5 years ago. This is about the time people want to go and buy a new car. And guess what? Now they realize they can't afford it. Interest rates are up. Okay? The cost of the cars are up. Insurance prices are up. Fuel, it's a little bit better now, but again, over the last 5 years, it's a little bit up. And so I bring this up because so many people are looking at their cars and thinking, this is an asset, absolutely love having it sit in my driveway, when honestly, it's a liability. So here's my advice to you. Don't worry what other people think of your car. Don't worry about keeping up with your friends and your neighbors. Okay? Do what you can to make sure your finances are in order. Because at the end of the day, it's only you that's going to be paying that bill.